Hi everyone, it's Nick. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, in today's video, we are going to be talking about furniture items for small spaces. So you don't necessarily have to have a small home, I think, to get value out of this video. I used to live in 500 square feet. Now I live in a bigger apartment, but still having furniture pieces that are multi-purpose, that are ingenious sort of ways to sort of save on space, I think are always valuable. And I want to name specific products in this video. Okay, so everything is linked down in the description. You can go check them out there because I want to name specific products, not just give you sort of overall guidance. I want to actually name some names because I think these are genius products that save you a lot of space, especially if you have a smaller home. Let's get into it. Okay, when it comes to furniture for small spaces, you also, in my opinion, want to pick items that are really useful, but also can be stored away when not in use. And this applies to things even like cooling fans that you need during hot summer months, which of course leads me to today's sponsor. That was a great segue, of course, Dreo. I love my new smart tower fan, Pilot Pro S, what a mouthful, because of its strong wind, high airflow speed, and far-reaching wind, which is really amazing and great and wonderful to use. The fan is super light and compact, making it easy to move around, which also makes it great for small spaces too. You can also adjust the range of the wind sort of direction horizontally through the Dreo app, which is very convenient when I'm lying in bed and I don't want to get up. Especially syncs with all of your other Dreo products, which I also have as well. I also have the smart air circulating fan, which is the CF7145, which I like to keep in my office for hot days while I'm working. This fan also has the same high-powered airflow and far-reaching wind features as of course the tower fan does. But what's extra cool is it can adjust the wind direction horizontally and vertically through the Dreo app, or with voice control even if you use that. So if you want a sleek, modern, and perfectly compact fan to cool off this summer, click on the link in the description to get yours today. Thank you, Dreo, for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to those small furniture pieces that you're gonna need. Okay, first category and then my item. My category is gonna be storage beds, and I'm going to pick my favorite storage bed, which is the cloud bed from Sundays. This is the bed that I actually have in my own home. I love my Sundays bed. I love this bed. Here's the thing I like about it. There's a lot of great storage solutions around how you deal with beds, but I think beds take up such a large amount of real estate in your home. Again, when I lived in that 500 square foot apartment, like the bed is a big presence. In fact, in that apartment, I had a queen size bed and I couldn't fit a door. So I had to take the door off of the bedroom because I couldn't actually close the door. Listen, I'm not saying you do that. In fact, I would advise against it, but it's a lot of real estate, you know what I mean? And you have to find a way to deal with storage in such a small space. This cloud bed is not only beautiful and not only like very comfortable and fantastic and like cush and padded and beautiful, but also it lifts up. I love the mechanism of like lifting up this bed. I featured this in the home tour if you guys saw that one that I did ages ago. And I think this is such a genius way of sort of having a whole area underneath to be able to use the bed. Now, there's lots of great like storage solutions like with bins and stuff. I'm gonna link to some on Amazon that are great. These are the ones that you can zip up, they're cloth, whatever, or plastic bins from IKEA, and you shove them under your bed. That's really great too. But I also just really love the storage bed in general because you got this really ingenious lift mechanism that is really easy to use. It feels very light, it's always impressive, and it's just easier to get to the storage underneath the bed. So this is a genius one. I think this is great. There's a lot of ones out there, of course, but I just wanted to name Sundays because I just love the brand and I love their stuff, and also because it's the bed that I own myself. Check it out. There's lots of fantastic ones out there, but just find ways to use storage. If you just have like a box spring or you just have just kind of a bed on the ground, there's just so much wasted space under there. And I know some people are like, but the feng shui, you need all the whatever, you need the air circulation. I get that, but I also need storage and that matters more to me. So that's why I love this bed. Also, honorable mention is gonna be the Lenia bed from Article. They have the drawer system. So as opposed to just sort of having those little like containers from Amazon, you can like actually have a full drawer system in there. I think it's cute. It's a good alternative for the lift up. The reason I like the lift up though is because then you don't have the sort of handles on the side of your bed, right? No one knows because you can actually tuck the strap in inside. No one knows that it's a lift up. You wouldn't be able to tell, but this way with the Lenia, that's another easy way to do it too because you have storage options with the doors. That's another great option too. Okay, next category is gonna be storage shelving. So as has been well documented, sometimes I feel like open shelving, maybe you've heard me say this once or twice, tends to be a bit chaotic because I feel like people actually what they really need is storage. They need pretty storage, but they need storage, and they don't necessarily always need so many floating shelves to be able to put all their stuff on. Floating shelves are great, I love them too. Just remember that if you pile a bunch of crap on there, it's gonna make your space not look great, right? So if you actually care, and it feel great too, you know, it's not about just looking, it's about feeling great. It just feels cluttered. I find a storage shelf can sometimes feel really cluttered. So floating shelves, great, but proceed with caution. But a storage shelf, I'm all in on. So the one I picked out here is actually gonna be the Quinn storage shelf. This one is really, really cute. This one is from West Elm. It's got sort of this fluted sort of pattern on the front, which is really neat. I love a storage shelf because you're able to flip down and have actual storage while still also having the opportunity to be able to style them however you so choose. So there's still a shelf, so you're still able to put stuff on there. You can still put your keys on there, maybe a little cute little tray, maybe you've got a little vase or something, maybe you've got, I don't know what you put on there, a little picture frame, whatever you need to do to style your shelving, which is great. But unlike a floating shelf, which again are great, but they have a different use, you're able to use this as actual storage. You can pop them open, you can throw your keys in there, you can throw your ugly stuff, you know, your dog poop bags or whatever. That's what I have in my storage shelf at the front hallway. I don't know about you, but you're able to throw those, you know, aesthetically unappealing things, and you can store them behind closed storage. I have one that's now been discontinued from CB2. It's like the acacia wood storage shelf or something. I love this one. This is one that I have in my front hall, again with the poop bags in there, but I don't think it's available anymore. But the Quinn is super, super cute and from West Elm and fulfilling the same function. But again, there's lots out there, but I love a storage shelf. Okay, next up, let's move into sort of like the table category of like really ingenious sort of solutions for tables for small spaces. So we're gonna talk about the Norden table from IKEA. This is one of those tables, what is that, a Gatling table or whatever, that sort of flips up. I love this one because it's got some side storage in the end there. So you've got some little unit that you can sort of put your little cutlery in there. You can put napkins, whatever you so want to do. This could double as a dining table if you have a really, really small space and you don't kind of know what to do with it. And basically what I love about the flip down, flip up solutions is that when not in use, they don't take up much space, but when you want to use them, you're able to pull them out. So if you have a smaller home, smaller kitchen or something, or a little small little dining area, this is a really great solution. It's super, super cute. Again, you got a little bit of storage in there, which is nice, but it's got that sort of style that you're able to sort of use it when you want and then put it away when you don't, which is just genius. Now, of course, if you're looking for something even like bigger and more sort of pronounced than just that sort of little table, I also recommend the gathering table from Transformer Table. They actually sent me a discount code, by the way. If you want one, it's down in the description. You can go use that and get some discount on there. I don't know. It's cute, okay? It's a cute little table and they've reached out and said, here's a code. So you can have that if you want. What I love about this table though, is that it transforms, hence the name, from something like that's, I wanna say like a small console, to be honest, and then turn into this like giant dining table. This is absolutely genius. These things are oftentimes not cheap, but again, because your apartment's smaller, you like theoretically don't have to pay as much for square footage, so now you can put them into really expensive tables apparently. So how these tables work is they basically start out, they're just genius to see them done. They basically look like a console, so you can just sort of rest them up against the wall, and then when you need them, you can sort of open it up and you have all the little leaves that are sort of stored in there, and it just sort of like bloop, bloop, like a little transformer. It just basically just pops open and now you have a dining room table for like 8. Like it's quite crazy how it sort of works. Very, very genius how they constructed these things. I think that it's not an inexpensive table in my experience, but it's kind of what you'd expect for a really high quality table that does what it does. Again, transformers are expensive. Like it's not gonna be as cheap as just like a plain wood table because there's a lot going on in the mechanisms and stuff. So that makes sense to me. I think this is a genius solution for someone that has a smaller table, but is interested in turning it into a 4, 6, or 8 person table on the rare occasions that you actually use it. Now on the website, they always have really, really big spaces and they have these sort of tables, and that's fine. I think practically most of their customers are probably gonna live in smaller places, small kitchen or dining areas. And they're basically looking for those sort of holiday situation. You got a bunch of people over Thanksgiving. You just want the option to have 6 or 8 people over. You know what I mean? And so having a small space and just have it really tucked away most of the time and then bring it out when you need it for those sort of special occasions, I think is genius. Because you think about it, a dining table, like if you've got the space for it, great. But if you've got a 10-person dining table, that's taking up a lot of real estate when you probably don't have 10 people over that often. So this is a nice way of sort of having an occasional use for when you actually need this many people, which you don't usually have that many friends. I'm not gonna lie to you. You don't have that many people. I had to tell you, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but you don't have as many friends as you think you do. So the rare occasions you have them all over, that's where the transformer table comes in handy. Okay, next up from good old IKEA, of course, is the Norberg, which is this really cute desk. I'm gonna put it in the table category, but I think this is really operating more as a desk. What's nice about it is it flips up and down, kind of like that dining table I mentioned earlier. So IKEA is obviously big on stuff like this. And it's small and unassuming when not in use, but then you can just flip it down. You just flip it down and then there's a little space for you to do your work. So, you know, let's say you're living in a 1-bedroom apartment, you know, a 2-bedroom, you know, would be nice. And that might be your second office or your office or whatever, but you just don't have the space for it. You're in a 1-bedroom, what do you do? Having something like this to be able to flip down for, you know, in the kitchen or in the living room or in a bedroom or something, and then just use it for those occasional, that time when you're at work, and then you flip it up, and then you're back in business for the rest of the evening. So I think this is a fun one. Of course, it's also gonna be quite affordable because it's IKEA, so this is a good option. And of course, also for IKEA, I'm gonna mention the Bajursta. Listen, if you've seen my IKEA videos, you know I never pronounce any of the names correctly, so don't even come at me in the comment section. I don't even try anymore, okay? Other creators, they try, I don't even try. And I know that might be culturally insensitive, but honestly, the Swedes don't care. So the Bajursta, I'm gonna have fun with it. The Bajursta, that one, yeah, it flips up. So, you know, by day, it's a little cute little shelf, and then by night, it flies up, and there you go, you got a little table for yourself. So that could be cute, again, as a desk or a sad little dining table of one. Either way, it could be really cute. Maybe you could put 2 people, 2 chairs on either side, you know, have fun with it. But yeah, that's that one. Check that out too. Okay, let's move in the category of a coffee table. So you have a small space and you're thinking, what do I do if I have a small space and a coffee table? There's a couple options for you, but I'm gonna mention first the Truman table from Rove Concepts. The reason I like this one is because you know me, I'm a sucker for storage. I'm a sucker for some hidden storage. Let's be honest, I just love an ingenious storage solution. I like this one. I'm gonna be honest with Rove Concepts, and I've met them and given them this feedback. I find a lot of the scale of their stuff to be really big. It's actually a complaint that I have with a lot of retailers. The scale is huge. This is one of their smaller tables. It's still not teeny tiny, but what I like about it, which is why I made this list, is that it has some really ingenious hidden storage. Basically, it looks like a cute little table, right? You got a little area, little flat area, you know, it's cute. It's a cute little table, right? You got the walnut going on, like it's fun. But then you slide it and now you got a whole trough, I'm gonna call it a trough of stuff, of storage that you can throw crap in. And the coffee table is such a great place to have hidden storage because there accumulates a lot of stuff in that area of the living room, being such a central point of the living room, where you got a lot of stuff in there that you probably don't use all the time and you might want to consider storage. So this is a really great solution in my experience because you can just sort of slide it on over, chuck all your crap in, take it out when you need it, but then you slide it on back and it just looks like a regular coffee table. So I love this one. I think this is cute. You can store like, you know, if you got, I don't know what you got in there. You got your remote you're gonna put in there, maybe you got some coasters in there, some candles that you don't want to display. I don't know what you got, but you might want to consider throwing them in there. And I think this is a great option. So again, when you're talking small spaces for me, I'm gonna go to storage right away because it's, again, having lived in small apartments for a long time, it's important. And the next coffee table, the other option I'm gonna give you is this, again, going back to the transformer table, but they have a transformer coffee table. Now, this one I like. I don't know if I love it, but I like it, and it still made my list. So you be the judge on whether or not it works for you. So again, by day, it's a regular old coffee table, okay? It's a cute little coffee table, comes in a bunch of different finishes. Go check it out, can match your dining table that you got earlier. You know what I mean? Like it's part of the same family as the transformer people. That's cute. But then it's got this like lift up mechanism, and now you have a little tray that sort of is elevated and you can use, I guess, for eating, because it's the 1960s, 50s, and we're doing the TV dinner thing. I don't know what we're doing here, but you know, if you're eating, watching TV, that's a great space for you. You can go and use that, or you can talk to your actual family, but I don't recommend it. Or maybe you're, I don't know, knitting, doing homework, maybe you're doing some work, you got your laptop there, it's ergonomic, I don't know, you know, you got options. So I like this one. Again, it's double duty. It's sort of a tray without being an ugly TV tray, but also being just a regular old coffee table. So it's sort of doing double duty. And I love things that do double duty when it comes to home design. So that's why I made this list. Now, why is it like kind of, I like it, but don't love it? I just think in its like tray up position, it looks a little ugly, but not everything has to be aesthetic, right? Not everything has to be beautiful because again, you're just temporarily using it for a little bit. I just think, you know, it's not the most, it's not attractive is all I'm saying. But still, that's not necessarily a reason to nuke it completely from this list, which is why it's here. Okay, next up is gonna be storage sofas or ottomans. So ottoman versus coffee table, ottoman versus coffee table. I was maybe at one point team ottoman, but I have sort of just decided that a coffee table is more practical because it's a hard surface that you're gonna actually use regularly for drinks and food and things like that. So personally, you know, I'm more in the center of the room on team coffee table. However, you could put ottomans in other areas of the room, of course, as well. But I would say a storage ottoman or a storage couch is a very interesting idea. Now, I would say the one that made my list here is from Cozey. I've never used it myself. They've reached out to me a bunch of times, but I haven't actually tried the product. But anyway, Cozey is really cute and very popular, and it's always advertising to me on social media. So there is that. What it is, which is albeit quite genius, you can lift up the cushions and now you got storage inside your couch, which again is genius because if you don't have a whole lot of space, then that's very nice because now you've got extra place to put blankets, you've got your throws in there your extra pillows. You got all sorts of crap that you're just chucking under there. So I think that's quite practical and very, very fun. I will say that I'm worried these aren't super comfortable because it's not like the big empty void under your seat is like doing nothing down there. So I would hope they're still comfortable. But again, I have never really sat on the Cozey one, but it still made my list. But you know, find somebody that maybe has one or comment below if you have one of these and really just make sure they're comfortable. Because I'm just a little bit worried that there's that lack of stuffing is maybe impeding the comfortability factor there. But on paper, it looks genius. So good on them for that. Okay, next up on my list, this one is pure genius. This one I have seen, I have tried, it is so genius. I was gonna buy one, but I honestly have no real reason to, so that's not a good reason to buy something. And that is from Bow Concept, and it's gonna be their, what's the name of it? Xtra Footstool, okay, that makes sense. With sleeping function, okay, great name, Bow Concept. If you don't know Bow Concept, I actually really like them. We have a store here in Vancouver. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're Danish. Yeah, I'm gonna say they're Danish. They have beautiful fabrics. I would say their stuff's like, it's very Danish modern. So if you love that, check out Bow Concept. I think Rove Concepts might sort of use some of their name/designs a little bit because it looks quite similar. Like it looks very modern and I like that. I like the aesthetic. I think it's cool. Bow Concept also in cheap, but anyway, good product. And this is the fun part about this one though, okay? It's an ottoman, which means you like wrap it in the cover, but then if you zip off the cover and you take off the fabric cover, it's a folded bed that's been folded into threes. So you literally have this like covered ottoman with whatever fabric you want. And if you actually go to the showroom, they've got like a wall of fabrics. Like it's a ton of fabrics down there. So you can go check out, you can have it in leather, you can have it in whatever you want to do. And then you just like take off the cover and you just go like flip, flip, flip. And then boom, it transforms into this single bed, which is genius because now you're taking an ottoman, which is functional. People can put their feet up, you can go whatever. And then you just like, you have a guest staying over and boom, boom, boom. Now all of a sudden you've got a single bed for them. Genius. So you're able to have the option of a place for people to stay, for guests to stay overnight without necessarily committing to an entire system. I think it's a genius. I was gonna get one, but then I realized I never invite anybody over to stay over and I realized, oh, if I have a space for them, then that's a whole thing. So I don't have one, but maybe you want one. And so check out Bow Concept. Okay, next up is gonna be the modular sofa from King Living. So this is called the Jasper modular sofa. This, King Living, I think they're Australian, I wanna say. If Australians in the wanna comment down below, I don't know. I think we have a showroom here in Vancouver as well and I've checked them out. Their stuff is scaled very large. And any store that has like a recliner, like a puffy recliner, I'm usually very skeptical of, which they have that. So I was a little like, oof, docking some points. But overall, a lot of their other stuff looked really cute. So, you know, I'm figuring it out is what I'm saying. I'm still figuring it out. But King Living looked interesting when I went in, I'll be honest. And they have this modular sofa, which again, this is a very big, beautiful sofa, but then it sort of folds down into something of a bed. Now I know you're like, that's not insanely new. That sounds like just a futon, but this one's a fancy high step-in futon. So this one feels like it basically morphs into an entire bed. I thought this was kind of the best of the category of what I had seen because kind of like I was saying earlier about couches and comfort, I'm not super convinced that a bed and a couch are interchangeable. So I'm a little skeptical of this one, but I will say King Living looked like they're one of the better options to be able to pull this off. So that's why I made this list. I had to include it as an option because of course, you know, if you're in a studio and that's what you're working with, that's a very small space. I hear you, I get you, I see you, and usually interior designers don't really look at you because it's just like, there's not even any rooms here, you know what I mean? But this could be a really good option if you wanted to get something a little bit more premium than that sort of IKEA sleeper futon that maybe you were considering. Again, is it super comfy? I don't know, I've never slept on it, but feel free to go head on down to a King Living or something similar and check out for yourself. This is not one I would just buy online and show up at my house because you wanna check it out as a sofa, but you also really wanna check it out as a bed too. Okay, next up on my list, God, we're just piling through here. You have so many options. I'm just giving you all the options if you have a small space. Let's talk about Murphy beds, okay? So yes, there's a lot of Murphy beds that are out there that like do the fold down thing or whatever. One I picked was from Expand Furniture. I find Expand and Transformer Table, I'm not saying who's copying who, but they do feel like they're doing quite similar on their designs. Maybe they're the same company. I don't know. Anyway, Expand Furniture. They do a lot of really interesting, kooky things. I featured them on this channel before, and I'm always really impressed with what they've come out with. But this one here is a Murphy bed, but by day it's a desk, like a full-on desk setup, and then you flip it around and you pull it down and boom, now all of a sudden you're in business and you've got a bed. Genius small storage solution. I think this would work really well for something of a guest room / office. So that's an interesting one, right? You got a 2-bedroom or you got a 3-bedroom place and you're like, I want a guest room, but practically speaking, when am I really gonna use it? I don't have that many beds. I don't have a 7-bedroom, okay? I don't have that many options here. What do I wanna do with this room? This could be a really interesting one, right? Again, these are not cheap, but it's more of a really long-term permanent solution for that problem. How do I make something an office by day, but then in the rare once or twice a month that someone's actually sleeping in my house, I have the guest room option. I think this one's really cool. I think it's very genius. I love what Expand Furniture is coming out with. I think sometimes it's not always the most aesthetic, but these are engineers that are running this company, I guarantee. My dad's an engineer, these are engineers, okay? They might not always be the prettiest, but they are the most genius. This is an engineering driven company, I guarantee you. And by the way, I will say, I also, similar to this, when I was at ZenniHome, I had a brand trip. I'm so fancy. A company actually sent me somewhere, which has only happened once, and it was very exciting. And I went down to Phoenix and like Mesa and Page and like all the whole area down there in the desert. Very cool. ZenniHomes was doing manufactured homes. They had some really cool ones also that are worth pointing out in the bed arena. So they had a bed that came down from the ceiling, which I'm gonna link to that below for you to check it out. This is a really cool small space solution. So they're doing like manufactured homes, right? So they're like building them all on site and then shipping them to you. Super interesting, I'll link them too. But what they were doing is like the bed is up in the air. You can't even tell, it's like in the ceiling, and then you press a button and then it like descends down into your living room. That's pretty cool, that was pretty genius. And then of course, they had like a little living area, like they had a little 2-seater, and then that would sort of morph into, and by the way, it wasn't gonna squish a child or something, okay? There's a mechanism, I tested it, there's a mechanism where it hits you on the head or something like that, it'll bounce back up. I did indeed test it and it does work. They had some really cool stuff. Also, they had a closet system where if you press a button, like it's up against the wall, and then it transfers, it opens up and it becomes a walk-in closet. So I love the genius things that people are doing with small space solutions. It's so fabulous. A lot of them are coming out of Europe. A lot of them are coming out of Japan because it's like smaller, like countries that are used to having smaller spaces. They've been doing them for so long. I love the new designs that are coming out. So cool. So that's kind of similar to what you're getting from Expand, in my personal opinion, where people are, you know, taking something that you see every day and morphing it into something else for the occasional use when you need it. So crucial in a small space. Okay, and then my next category is going to be seating or side table stools. Okay, this is not something that does any weird tricks. There's no transforming, there's no buttons, there's no gear, nothing's gonna fly out of you, okay? I'm just saying, if you have a small space, furniture items that you might wanna consider would be a stool that doubles, this is important, a stool that doubles as a side table. So there's no tricks involved. It's just that I think that side tables sometimes get really out of hand, and sometimes some side tables are not equipped to be stools and stools not equipped to be side tables. And I think you might want to consider ones that do both. So I have the Field Stool from Sundays. Again, mentioned them earlier with the Cloud Sofa, love Sundays. Love the Field Stool that I got from them because this one doubles as seating if you need it and also makes sense and works as a table. So this is actually what I use back there for a side table. You could also use these as a nightstand, right? I have another stool from Sundays that I use. I'll link that one too. I don't remember the name of it. West Coast Stool? I think it's the West Coast Stool. And that one doubles as a nightstand. So I love using pieces, furniture pieces that make sense for one use, but then you can use them for something else. I think that is so crucial if you have a small space. You know, I don't have a massive apartment here, and so it is nice to be able to have things do double duty. So by day, most of the time, it's going to be a side table that I use for drinks and things, but then when I have people over, it doubles as a stool if it's absolutely necessary. So crucial. If you got people coming over for dinner, you don't have, you know, a million chairs sitting around, it might make sense for temporary use. You have someone coming over, you want to pop it in your living room, works there too. Genius, genius, I love these. IKEA also has a really good one that stacks. Stackable ones are also even better in my opinion because that makes it really easy for storage when completely not in use. The IKEA one you want to check out there is the Kyre or Kier. Again, I don't know, K-Y-R-R-E. Go check that one out, but that is a stackable stool. Classic IKEA. They've had that one there for a long time. Check that one out too. Okay, so that's it for me today, guys. Hope you liked this video. I'm gonna link here to my videos on like genius home solutions. These are not necessarily ones that are furniture pieces that make for small spaces, but I think you'll really enjoy the sort of genius ideas. A lot of TikTok weird things that people have come up with that are just so genius to make storage and things so much easier and fabulous in people's homes. So I'm gonna link that here to the video, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye.